I bought some peanuts.
Huh?
We've just been through a matter transference beam. You've probably lost some salt and protein.
Hi there, and welcome to Baseball by Design. I am SportsLogos.net minor league baseball correspondent Paul Caputo, broadcasting live as never before from Coors Field in Denver, Colorado.
Woo! And hello, everybody. This is Erik the Peanut Guy with the Tri-City Dust Devils. I'm also broadcasting live with my friend Paul from Coors Field
Here in Denver, Colorado. It's the top of the 7th inning. We've got a whole baseball day planned.
Yeah.
We're going to do most of this episode from the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame in Fort Collins when we get back tonight. But I wanted to do just a brief intro to sort of highlight the baseball-y nature of the day today. We're going to talk about, we went to the site where the Denver Bears played.
Yeah.
It's just a parking lot now outside
a very historic parking lot.
A very historic parking lot where the Denver Broncos play. We had lunch at one of my favorite places here in Denver, the Cherry Cricket. That was awesome. We can talk all about that. And we're at Coors Field now, watching the Rockies, wandering the ballpark. And then after this, we're going to go to the National Ballpark Museum. So we're going to talk more later.
Yeah.
But Erik, I wanted to do just a quick intro. Tell us about your day. This is a day you've had planned.
Yeah.
For a while. You've been up since early this morning.
Yeah.
Tell me about why this day happened.
My amazing wife Karina and I got up bright and early in the Tri-Cities, jumped on a plane, flew here, where Paul and Amy and Maya picked us up at the airport, like exclusive curbside service, by the way.
Hey, really?
Even with the police officers yelling, keep it moving, keep it moving. It was amazing. We're here to celebrate Karina's cousin's wedding later in the weekend, but we tagged on a few days to do some baseball, to be in the amazing state of Colorado, and to hang out with amazing friends. So we're so happy we're here.
It's going to be an amazing rest of the day. We're only partway through it.
Yeah.
We'll check in later, from the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame. Be a little less background noise.
It's getting loud.
We'll use real microphones.
Go
all that sort of
Rockies!
thing. But we had to check in from this incredibly beautiful day. Yeah. Erik, I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks, Paul.
Walking around Coors Field with minor league baseball legend Erik the Peanut Guy.
Oh my gosh! I thought you were talking about yourself.
We will see you back at the house.
Can't wait.
As promised, we are here in the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame. We just finished the tour of the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame. We recorded a little intro with the Rockies game, but now we're going to actually sit down and have a conversation with a real microphone on the computer.
This is great. Yeah.
You have been working for the Tri-City Dust Devils for a quarter century.
Yeah.
What is your actual title? It's not Erik the Peanut Guy.
Well, I wish it was. Yeah. My name's Erik Mertens. I go by Erik the Peanut Guy.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, I started working full-time in the front office. So that title is Director of Fan Experience and Community Relations. And then come game time, I'm the on-field host. And that's the position I've held for over 2 decades.
We've had an amazing day.
Oh my gosh. It's been such a good day. My voice is shot. I'm exhausted, but it's all like good. It's good. I haven't laughed this much in a long time.
We laughed a lot today. It's absolutely true. But in terms of our full baseball day, this was driven largely by you because you are a professional. No, you're not professional.
I wish.
You are a really serious baseball tourist, though. And so this is why I wanted to have you on the podcast to talk about the things that you seek out when you go on your baseball trips, because you've gone on a lot of baseball trips. How many? You have one Major League Baseball stadium remaining?
That's correct. As of today.
Okay.
Yes.
As of today. Well, you've been to Coors Field before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But my wife Karina, this was her first time there.
Okay.
So that was really special.
How many affiliated minor league baseball stadiums do you still have?
That's a great question.
Constantly shifting. It's a moving target.
It is. And my goal is to still hit the original 160 affiliated minor leagues. And then after, the reorganization in 2020, it's now down to 120.
Yeah.
So, but really, that's 119 ballparks because Palm Beach and Jupiter share the same ballpark.
As listeners of this podcast know.
Oh, yeah. I'm not telling anyone anything they don't know. So I have, as of today's recording, 11 affiliated minor league ballparks left to get to.
Okay.
My amazing wife and I are hoping to cross off about 5 of those later, or 6 later this summer.
Amazing.
And my final major league ballpark. So,
incredible. Which is what?
Detroit.
Okay.
Detroit is the final major league ballpark. And I do want to say, because I know different ballpark travelers have their own rules, and I think
Yeah.
that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
No one needs to follow others' rules,
Right,
but
right, right.
for me, I haven't been to games at all of them.
Okay.
So some
Okay.
people might take note with that or might
Yeah.
come up. But I started visiting ballparks when I had no money, and if I was just traveling for like a family trip or a wedding or for work,
Yeah.
I'd find the nearest ballpark, and even if it was like the dead of winter,
Yeah.
I thought, well, I might never be in Hagerstown, Maryland ever again. I
Right.
better go visit this ballpark, or
Absolutely.
so I count it. And so once I visit all these ballparks, maybe then I'll start working on catching games at all of them. But
Yeah.
still, it's a beautiful way to see our continent. I would say country, but
Yeah.
got to include Canada as
Sure,
well,
sure, sure.
especially being from Washington. We
Yeah.
have a lot of friendly neighbors up there. So yeah, I'm really grateful and excited. I was kind of surprised earlier this year when I was doing the math.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's a moving target.
Right, right, right.
New ballparks open every year,
Yep.
especially in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
But I sat down, I was like, oh my gosh, after a couple trips this summer,
That's pretty amazing.
I'm going to be like 5 left.
Yeah. Well, and even right now you're over 90%. You've got,
Yeah.
you've got you say you have 11 left, so you've got 109 out of 120.
Listen, you're better at math than I am. I'm going to take it, especially right now. Our beloved listeners, Karina and I didn't get much sleep last night. We jumped on a early flight and have had a blast in Colorado all day. And I'm running on fumes, but it's like positive.
Well, this is what I want to talk about because, obviously we checked in from the ballpark earlier today.
Yeah.
We just had a quick hello just to sort of set the stage.
Right.
But you don't just visit the ballparks. You don't want to just go see a ball game.
No.
The things that you lined up for us today, I've been in Colorado for 20 plus years. I consider myself a pretty big baseball fan.
Yeah.
We did some things today that I had not done before. Well, one thing in particular,
Yeah.
we started the day. We picked you up at the airport after your early flight.
Thank you.
Headed to not a baseball stadium, but the
Took the
football
5-hour drive from the Denver airport to Denver.
Right. That is for sure. Yeah, it was an interesting choice to put the Denver airport in Kansas.
Yeah.
Well, we went down to Mile High Stadium,
Mhm.
the new Mile High Stadium,
Right,
which
yeah.
has all sorts of corporate names and other things,
Yeah.
But in the parking lot at Mile High Stadium, there is a home plate just painted with white paint on the blacktop.
Mhm.
What is that home plate that you had us go visit?
That is, and I just learned this last week. I did some research. I knew I was coming to Denver, and it is to visit you. We're also here for a family wedding too, so we're kind of combining a bunch of stuff. But I've always heard of the Denver Bears as the minor league team that was here before the Rockies
Yeah.
came to town. And as a minor league lover,
Mhm.
minor league nerd, that name's taken. But as it should be.
TM.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to see where the Denver Bears played.
Yeah.
And I collect fitted hats.
Right.
And I looked on eBay and there was a fitted Denver Bears hat near my size.
Yeah.
So I ordered the hat and then I looked, where was their ballpark? Lo and behold, it was called Mile High Stadium. It's an older baseball stadium that was on the site of what is now where the Denver Broncos play.
Right.
And so that home plate is, and you helped me learn this today, it's right where home plate was for the old Denver Bears AAA minor league baseball team.
I have a Denver Bears t-shirt that I got at a retro sporting goods store here in Fort Collins, which I'm hoping you're going to find tomorrow when you're out and about in
Me
Old
too.
Town Square.
Me too.
I can direct you to it. But I didn't know that either. And so I learned that by virtue of you saying, hey, let's go see this thing. Let's go see this marker. Ranger Amy was with us.
Yes.
My daughter Maya was with us.
Yeah.
And your beautiful wife Karina was with us.
Yes.
And we dragged all of them down there
Yeah,
and stood in the parking lot for 15 minutes.
This is the kind of stuff that I've done on my own for a few years.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I would have like a dear friend, my best friend Putty has gone on these trips with me.
Yeah.
My mom has gone on trips like this with me. Karina has gone on trips like this with me. So they're kind of used to walking around parking lots or old lots or finding like locked fences to try to sneak in or look through to visit old ballparks or current ballparks. And I knew you would be down for it. But the fact that we had 5 people and no one was like, why are we traipsing? It was like,
Right.
it was blazing hot out there.
Yeah.
It was really warm. We were all
Yeah.
sweating, but
Yeah.
no one was like, what are we doing? Everyone was like,
Right.
let's go.
It was a
See?
great day for standing in a parking lot.
And we got photos with your shirt and my hat.
Right, right,
And later in the day, I'm sure you'll mention this. We learned more about the Denver Bears,
right.
which made our little excursion in the morning even more special.
All the more meaningful. We learned that the Denver Bears had been around for more than 100 years in various iterations. We learned that at the National Ballpark Museum.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, we checked in from Coors Field. Everyone knows we went and saw the Rockies game. And I want to talk to you about the ballpark experience. But I want to do the non-game things first here because it's such an interesting way to explore baseball in a new place for me.
Yeah.
How you approached this. So we went to the football stadium to see the home plate.
Yeah.
And then we went back and we parked the car in the Coors Field neighborhood where it would just stay for the rest of the day, basically.
Paul knows all the great parking spots, insider info.
Yeah.
I won't reveal your secrets.
Right. Yeah. But free. I've been parking for free at Coors Field for 20 years. So
that's amazing.
So we went to my favorite ballpark restaurant, which is the Cherry Cricket Ballpark. Yeah, it's a really, you can see whenever a baseball fan comes to town, I always take them there because you can see Coors Field
right across the street.
Right across the street. Yeah, exactly.
Having your burger, drinking a beer or a Coke or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you recommended that.
So
yeah.
We had a great time there. And so then we went to the ball game. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But after the ball game, we went to the National Ballpark Museum. And this is a really fascinating place. We're going to hear from Bruce. The proprietor of the National Ballpark
infamous
Museum.
Bruce now.
He was great. And he gave a sort of impromptu tour. He was running the front door and the cash register and, kind of doing tours and telling stories.
It's like a one-man operation, and it's an impressive operation.
It's a very cool little spot. It's a small museum. It does not take very long to go through. But man, you could spend a lot of time in each of these little exhibits.
Yeah.
And there were a lot, he was a big fan of sort of old-timey baseball. Mm-hmm. And so it was a lot of stuff from the historic ballparks. And, it was I've been there before. It was a cooler experience than I thought it was going to be, even just to sort of revisit it and be back in there.
Good.
But that was something you sought out.
Yeah.
So you sought out the Denver Bears home plate. We went to lunch by the ballpark, and then it was important to you to see this ballpark museum. As a baseball tourist, why was seeing that important to you?
Wow, good question. Yeah, these baseball trips, these baseball tours have kind of organically grown over the years.
Yeah.
And now, the more you do something, the more you learn what you like, what you don't like. And I'd always just go visit current active professional affiliated ballparks. That was but then a few years ago, I started branching out and catching some college wood bat games and fell in love with that. And then some independent or partner league games. I was like, oh my gosh. And then Karina and I visited the Negro Leagues Hall of Fame and Baseball Museum in Kansas City a couple years ago. That was kind of the first ever museum that I included, and it was the highlight of the trip.
Yeah.
Obviously the ballparks were great too.
Sure.
But I was like, man, if there's like a legitimately good baseball museum in a city that I'm in, why wouldn't I go?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so still the priority for me is visiting ballparks.
Yeah.
Not just crossing them off the list, but like collecting these experiences with people I love. But also this ballpark museum is literally right across the street,
right,
kitty corner to home plate entrance of Coors Field.
Yeah.
And I think you might have mentioned it once on one of your episodes or talking with you. And it's on baseballmapper.com, which I check every day as a way to relax and soothe my mind. And so I was like, all right, listen, if we're going to be doing Denver, if we're going to be doing a baseball day in Denver with Paul and Ranger Amy and Maya and Karina, like we got to go. And it was great.
You talk about baseball as a way to relax. You are a professional in the field of minor league baseball.
Yeah.
Working with the Tri-City Dust Devils for 20 years.
Yeah.
Plus 24 years.
This is my 25th year. Yeah.
So a quarter century.
Yeah.
As a professional in minor league baseball.
I started when I was 8. So
no. And You are, you go by Erik the Peanut Guy.
Hmm.
That obviously is a massive understatement of the things that you do with the Dust Devils. You're the on-field MC.
Yeah.
There's a life-size bobblehead of you
Yeah.
at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're extremely important to this team and to the minor league baseball community at large.
That's so funny you said that, man. My beloved dad, Ed Mertens, he passed away 8 years ago, and some people have heard his story, which I'm grateful for. But he was always so proud of me, which is really special to know, especially now that he's passed away. But he would introduce me saying like people, especially around the Tri-Cities, he'd be like, "Hey, do you go to Dust Devils games?" Like, "Yeah, we go to a game every now and then." Like, "My son's the peanut guy." And like if people didn't really know, they're like, "Great, he's
Yeah.
a peanut vendor." Like my 15-year-old nephew sells peanuts at a minor league,
Right, right.
but that's how I started. And I
Yeah.
did sell peanuts at Dust Devils games for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And then it transitioned about 3 years into it, transitioned to being the on-field host.
Hmm.
And then I'm a fan first. I
Hmm.
love the Dust Devils.
Yeah.
I'm not just an employee. And I love the Tri-Cities. And so I lead cheers in the stands. I'm the official, well, unofficial greeter at the front gate.
Yeah.
I juggle. And so it's kind of grown in my name is Erik the Peanut Guy.
Yeah.
But I do more than just sell peanuts. In fact, I don't sell peanuts anymore. I throw free bags of peanuts in the crowd.
Okay.
Still.
Okay. So you can
People-
still legitimately call
Yeah,
yourself the peanut guy.
It's
Yeah. Okay.
important.
Yeah.
There's some legitimacy to this. And then this is my third stint working in the Dust Devils front office, believe it or
Okay.
not.
Oh, yeah.
I did a college internship in 2003.
All right. All right.
And then I worked in the front office selling sponsorships in 2011, 2012.
Okay.
And now 2 years ago, I rejoined the front office, and that's my day job. And the
Okay.
official title is Director of Fan Experience and Community Relations.
I love it.
And then come game time, still Erik the Peanut Guy, doing
Yeah.
the cheering, doing the peanut tossing, doing the juggling.
Nice.
And it's been fun. I knew going into it, now that's my third time, like anytime you work for a team or an organization you're a big fan of, you see how the sausage is made, and
Right,
sometimes
right.
the luster goes away. But
Yeah.
no, it's a difficult job working in minor league baseball. It really is. Anyone
Yeah.
who does it will tell you.
Yeah.
You have to be a jack of all trades. You have to work long hours and be very flexible.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So that's the long answer to your short question.
I love that answer. It is your third time on this podcast, so
I'm so honored.
first time not at Christmas though.
And first time you're not at your parents' house.
Right, right. Well, let's get into that just a little bit. We
Yeah.
are in the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame.
This is awesome. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening, it is cooler than you imagine. You hear about it every podcast episode. I listen to every episode of Baseball by Design. I've seen photos, but it's really special to be here. The colors, the love, and you have everything so nicely displayed. Because, like you said, the difference between a hoarder and a collector is
Display
a
case.
display case.
I didn't say it. John Hodgman said
Yeah,
it.
you said, yeah, you were quoting John. But there's something cool about being in this room, because not only is it things and colors, but you can really tell the love. And that's something I connect with. In my hat parlor, I collect fitted hats and all. I got 4 hats today.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That I need to budget better, but I love it. And so to see another passion from a friend, especially about minor league baseball, is really cool. So,
Well, I think about your living room.
yeah, you've been there.
I have been there. The guest bedroom in your home is named for me,
That's true.
which I'm super honored.
We were going to call it the Paul Caputo Memorial Guest
Yeah.
Suite, but we realized you hadn't died yet.
No, you can do that when I'm dead.
Yeah, no, it's the Paul Caputo Commemorative Guest Suite. So, yeah.
I was honored to be the first person to stay in your guest
Yeah.
room. You guys are crashing out here tonight in the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame guest suites.
Yeah.
But
it smells really good. I just need to say, it smells really good here.
does it smell good?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
glad to hear that. That's good news.
Yeah.
Smells
Smells better than me after walking around the Denver heat all day.
We
Tell you
have
that.
been in the Denver heat
Yeah.
all
They're
day.
kind of toasted, right?
Between the parking lot, the football field parking lot, and then the ball game, and then or the lunch before that, I guess, and then we had the museum, and then we sat in some traffic to come back up here to Fort Collins,
Up the whole Denver experience.
and then we went straight to dinner at my favorite Mexican restaurant in town, Pueblo Viejo.
So good.
So we had a very full day. We haven't touched on the baseball game.
Oh,
yet.
yeah, that's right.
We went to
The
a baseball
game.
game
A
today.
Major League Baseball game.
We had very good seats, about 22 rows behind first base.
Mhm.
We were in the seats that the players throw the balls to as they're coming in at the
Yeah,
end of the
that was
inning.
a surprise at first. We
Yeah,
were like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
we almost got hit by one.
There's a ball coming
Yeah.
right at us.
Didn't catch it, mind you. Someone else
No,
caught it, but we
well,
almost died.
and I don't think you could have caught it. It wasn't for lack of trying because he was right in front of you.
Very athletic,
Yeah, so
intimidating.
he was throwing elbows.
Yeah.
But we sat in those seats. It was very warm. We sat in those seats for about 3 innings.
Mhm.
Regardless of whether it was warm or not, the plan was, and we executed this plan to sort of wander a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we wandered. It took us, I mean, we wandered for about 3 innings,
Mhm.
ended up on the rooftop deck,
Yeah.
ended up in the purple row, which signifies
Thank
a
you.
mile above sea level.
Yes, I felt that today too. We had to look up the Tri-Cities elevation is 400 feet.
Yeah,
We're at 5,200
yeah,
feet.
yeah.
So we both, I think it's taken us all day to acclimate, but both Karini and I were like, whoo.
Yeah. Yeah, it for real, like if you were for real to move here and try to acclimate, it's like a 6 week to 8 week
Oh my
process to
gosh.
acclimate. Yeah, it doesn't happen right
Maybe
away.
we haven't acclimated.
Probably not.
Just the margaritas we had for dinner.
Yeah, that exacerbates the effect, that's for sure. Um, we had very good, expensive seats.
Yeah.
And we found ourselves by the end of the game in the very last row at the top of the,
Yeah.
top of the ballpark in the outfield. We were sitting in seats where we couldn't see center field.
We didn't know who won the game.
Right, yeah, it was a long fly ball to center field, and it disappeared behind the obstructed view, and we had no idea what
Just as
happened.
many Dodgers fans as Rockies fans, if not more. And so we
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
Yeah, there was
Everyone
no
was
way to
cheering.
tell.
It was just an amalgamous cacophony of cheering.
But that is you were the driver behind that. That was your idea. Let's get
Yeah.
up and let's walk around. Why do you like to experience a ballpark like that
Oh, man.
instead of sticking in your great seats right behind the dugout?
That's a great question. Well, first off, thank you. Thank you for being game to do that.
Heck yeah, it was fun.
And then big shout out to Daryl Ebert, the team president for the Dust Devils. He's so kind. He's got a lot of connections. He heard that we were going to the Rockies game. He knows you. He loves you. You've interviewed him for articles and
Yeah.
things before. So he was like, "Oh yeah, let me get on the phone." He made some calls, and so we got these really nice seats.
Let me just interject that Daryl is always so gracious and welcoming of me when I'm at a Dust Devils game.
Good.
He always makes sure to say hi, and he always, he's always made arrangements for me to have some sort of special experience there. So you're absolutely right that he's a really special, good guy,
Yeah.
and has gone out of his way to help me feel welcomed when I've been there at Dust Devils games.
That makes me so happy to hear.
Yeah.
He's one of the best people I know, and one of the main reasons I come back every year with the Dust Devils. So
Nice.
yes, like I mentioned earlier, after visiting quite a number of ballparks over the years, you kind of learn what you like, what you don't like. I really like to explore. I want to see every nook and cranny of a ballpark. And for some reason, I've always found myself, I want to get up high because, and I think it is, I want to see sight lines of the actual field,
Right.
but I want to see what's around the stadium.
Yeah.
Like the horizon, the skyline.
Yeah.
And talk about a skyline. You're at a Rockies game, and if you sit up in the purple seats or above, you got the Rockies right there, the literal Rocky Mountains right there.
Yeah, if you're on the first base side, you can see, especially when you're up as high as we were, for the seventh,
end.
eighth, ninth inning,
Yeah.
you can see, just the whole row, the whole
range.
front range, and then
Yeah.
the Rockies. You can see the snow-capped 14ers behind them.
Right.
So
In the middle of summer.
you can really see the Rockies from
Yeah.
those seats.
And then also you see downtown Denver, you
Yeah.
see the surrounding industry.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I've just found myself drawn to that. And I am so grateful that you and Ranger Amy and Maya were willing to do that, and with Cariña, and we were all tired and hot, but let's keep going, and we'll stop and have a drink here, but let's keep going after. We were like, scaling Everest or something. But I don't know why. Something like it's very nostalgic. It reminds me of being a kid going to the first baseball games I ever went to in the Kingdom, where we the only seats we could afford were the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
But from up there, you had to work your way up to them. So you got to walk around the ballpark. You got to smell the food.
Yeah.
And then you got up to the top. And when I go to a baseball game in some city in our country that I might never be back to, in some corner of the United States that maybe people don't really visit as much as a big city, I want to see, I want to explore everything. I remember I went to an Asheville Tourist game, which is probably my all-time favorite minor league ballpark.
It's beauty.
It's awesome. And it's
Yeah.
not flashy. It's not new. It's
No.
historic. It's got
Yeah.
character. They keep it up. So
Yeah.
it's nice and it's
Yeah.
clean
Yeah.
but they got nooks and crannies and
Yeah.
you can, now it's a construction zone because they're upgrading things, which is great. But
Yeah.
you could kind of sneak around in this corner and you can watch an inning here and then go over to this part. And that's what I try to do. And I just need to thank all my friends who visit ballparks with me, because I think a lot of people might think, well, you got these free tickets or you got these great seats, or maybe you just buy what you can afford. Let's sit and watch the game.
Right.
And
right.
I do love the game of baseball, but I love it for more than just the results and the box score.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we had a very funny moment today as we were exploring, as we were walking the concourse. Coors Field is built in the 90s, but it has a very new feeling about it.
Gorgeous.
And one of the best things about it is the open concourse, where you can see the field as you're walking the concourse.
360,
right?
yeah.
So, exactly. But we were out in center field.
Behind the pine trees.
Behind the pine trees, exactly. That's right. And I recognized the on-field host, or the in-game MC for the Rockies.
He's great.
And you were 10, 20, 30 feet away from
I
me.
think I was filling my water bottle.
You
for
were filling your water bottle.
50th time.
Oh my gosh, I had so much water today. Like,
hydrate or dihydrate. Oh, yeah.
That's what they say.
That's what the kids say.
Dihydrate. You don't want to dihydrate,
No,
that's for sure.
Just hydrate.
So, but I went and I flagged him down, and I was just like, hey, I just wanted you to know that, like, I'm traveling right now with a person who does what you do for the.
That's how you introduced yourself.
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I was like, I said, hey, I was like, actually wanted to introduce you to my friend who I'm traveling with here.
Thank you.
And it was funny because, here he is. He does this for the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
They're not having the best season, but they're a Major League Baseball team,
and he's
right?
been doing it for a while.
And he's been doing it for a while, right? Yeah, because you had the chance to talk to him for a little bit. And, you came over representing, a high A baseball team. And I can only imagine he would think, well, like, I'm here in the majors and you're at high A. And hilariously, you were recognized by someone else walking the concourse. You're talking to him and someone says, oh my God, it's Erik the Peanut Guy.
And that was the only person to recognize me at today's game. Every now and then, especially around the Northwest, I might get recognized a little more. It's been fun to be recognized in random places around the country too.
Yeah.
But today that was the only one, and it was right when you were introducing me to him.
It was the perfect timing. It almost seemed like a setup, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I did pay her $100 last week to do
well,
this.
that's good, because you saved $100, because the Bruce at the National Ballpark Museum gave us free. We got into a conversation with him. He enjoyed chatting with us, and he gave us 5 $20 free admissions. It was amazing. So
thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
Well, thank you for introducing me to the Rockies on-field host.
Yeah.
And he goes by Jacket Guy.
Jacket Guy.
On social media. Jacket Guy, CEO for Colorado. So I was trying to remember his actual name.
Yeah, I don't know his actual name.
Sorry, Jacket Guy.
Jacket Guy. But Jacket Guy, CEO.
But but he was super humble and gracious and down to earth, which is the first sign to me of a good MC or host, or even someone on camera or mic.
Sure.
You can immediately tell if there's an ego involved.
Right.
And we all have egos, so you don't write them off immediately. But he was so cool and gracious and wanted to know more about you and more about me and what we were doing. And I mean, as a baseball host, you always have the scoreboard in the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
Because you need to know how many outs you have until you need to be on the other side of the stadium.
Yeah.
And he was walking to the other side of the stadium for another hit.
Yeah.
He had the mic in his hand.
Yeah.
He was ready to go.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I was like, this guy's got places to be.
Yeah.
But he took the time.
He did.
And it was crazy that, I would too. If I worked for a major league team, I'm like, well, that's nice. You worked for a minor league team.
Right.
Good for you. And he genuinely meant it.
Yeah.
But then some lady in Dodgers gear literally said, oh my God, Peanut Guy.
That was the best. That was so the best. I love that so much. That moment was really funny.
Yeah. Thank you for facilitating that moment.
Well, I thought it was cool, right? Like, I was like, you guys are colleagues, so that was a cool thing to do.
Can I say some of my favorite things today? And
all right.
Folks, if you can hang out with Paul Caputo, if you ever get that chance, because you do what I do, only you do it better. When you see someone wearing a minor league hat or shirt, you go up to them in a non-creepy way and you say, "Oh, love your Akron Rubber Duck shirt or Durham Bulls jersey or Hartford Yard Goats hat." And we saw dozens of these
We did. We
people.
saw a lot of people in
And
minor league gear.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I usually I usually just go up and do a quick, "Hey, I like your hat,"
Yeah.
or maybe I'll, reference if I know the team, which I usually do. But
Yes, you do.
you actually engage in conversation, and all of a sudden we're like, "Where'd Paul go?" And they're like, "He's here," and he's laughing with this other guy. And when we were at the rooftop bar, we started talking with this couple who were visiting
yeah.
ballparks, and
Yeah.
so we met people at the museum
Right.
who've seen 16 of the 30 ballparks, and they're a retired couple, and
Yeah.
and I think I've shared this with you like 3 times today, but today really reminded me of it. The reason I love baseball, especially minor league baseball and the baseball community, is it's all about connection and people and relationships, and to a larger degree, community. It really is. And I've worked in ministry for 15 years.
Yeah.
And now I work in baseball.
Yeah.
And for me, it's been an easy transition. Obviously, some things are different.
Sure.
But it is about love and relationships and building each other up and connecting. And we were wearing Rockies gear, and then we were talking with people wearing Dodgers gear, and the fans were booing, the teams all game long. And but when we learned, "Oh, you're on a ballpark road trip," oh my gosh, and people say, "Oh, my daughter lives in Washington State."
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that was the other thing, is you met a handful of people who were from the Tri-Cities, right?
Literally.
Yeah.
Spokane, Tri-Cities, and the Yakima Valley, which is our neck of the woods. And Karina's family, extended families from the Yakima Valley, and we met someone who's from the same small town.
Too cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a sort of small world day today, but that speaks to what you're talking about, which is that these minor league, someone's walking around in minor league gear, it's a conversation starter, and
100%.
you get to know folks. The Baseball Palooza guys would be laughing at you right now, or laughing at what you're saying about me.
I'm used to it.
They'd be laughing because they always, they're always like, "Don't let Paul check us into the hotel because he's going to have to tell the check-in clerk our life story and all the baseball stadiums we've been to since 2015." And so
that's awesome.
So I get teased for my penchant for making conversations.
You just reminded me of an experience I had a couple years ago. I was on a ballpark road trip for Pennsylvania and upstate New York.
Yeah.
But that was the time I also visited the Blue Jays.
Okay.
So I was crossing the nation's border. I was going up into Canada.
Yeah.
And I've done that many times from Washington up to British Columbia, but I've never done it on the East Coast, so I didn't know what to expect. And the Canadian border patrol agent was definitely like, "All right, where are you going? What's your intention? How long are you going to be here?" The classic questions. And when I told him I was going to a Blue Jays game, he was like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, I'm just going on a ballpark road trip." He's like, "By yourself?" I said, "Yes." And his face immediately brightened.
Yeah.
The facade dropped. He's like, "Dude, that is awesome."
He's
like, "I want to do that." He said, "I've been to Boston, I've been to New York, but..."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Wait, you're going to be in Toronto tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, you got to go to Detroit. It's just a few hours away." And he's like, "I was watching Blue Jays." I mean, literally,
that's awesome.
Baseball and baseball travels immediately took him out of being, he was doing his job.
Sure. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But we immediately connected more than we had this like adversarial.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever told the story on this podcast of the time in Baseball Palooza when we flew into Seattle and drove to Vancouver, and our van, we did one of these like point-to-point ones because we couldn't get a 15-passenger van.
Okay.
So we had to get one of these like basically Airbnb but for vans.
Oh.
And it was we rented a Sprinter van. We got to the Canadian border, and I told the guys, like, because it's a very jokey group, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah, don't be stupid.
I was like, just don't say anything stupid. Like, just like jokes have left the room. Just everyone give me your passport. Like, we'll stack up the passports. Like, it is, all serious, all serious. We get there. The customs agent, the Canadian customs agent, says to me, "Do you know that your van doesn't have tags?"
Oh, no.
Our van didn't have tags. It was brand new. They hadn't gotten the tags yet. We told them we were going to Canada, and they were like, "Okay," and they sent us off.
Suckers.
I texted the guy who rented us the van, and I was just like, "Say, where are the tags?" And his response was, "That's a good question."
Oh, my God. What happened?
Well, they let us through.
Thank you, Canada.
Thank you, Canada. They let us through, but we were sort of sweating getting back into the U.S. The rest, So we checked the rental agreement, and like it didn't have any tag number there. It just said like WA temp, and then there was nothing in any of the paperwork had any sort of identification for this van. But it's a similar thing. We told her we're 9 idiots on a ballpark road trip, and we're going up to Vancouver to see baseball.
And she said, well, don't get pulled over.
Oh, yeah.
So
Drive
that was,
safely.
yeah, thank you.
That's awesome.
So the next day we drove from Vancouver to Pasco
Yeah, that's
to
right.
see your Dust Devils,
Yeah.
but not you because you were out with COVID.
Yeah.
But when we came back into the country, same thing.
Yeah.
We were like, yeah, and this time we were prepared for it.
Mhm.
And they asked the question, are you aware that your van does not have tags? And I said, yes, I became aware of this yesterday. We contacted the rental agent,
Yeah.
and there was nothing we could do about it. This time, though, they opened up the front door and they checked the VIN of, yeah. So,
Smart.
yes,
Thanks, America.
thanks, America. And my favorite thing about this story, though, was we were 8 white dudes and one black dude, Ron, our black friend,
Yeah.
and we were like, there was so much tension in the van, and we've gotten through customs,
Back
and
in
we're
the States.
yeah, but we're just still like waiting around to see if it's still for real, right? Like, are we gonna
The
get
blue
nailed?
lights
Right,
behind you.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So we go maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Ron is sitting directly behind me, and he goes, y'all, white privilege is real. And it made every one of us in that van
Yeah.
think, you know what?
Yeah, he's
Like,
not wrong.
yeah, like if the situation had been reversed,
Yeah.
what would have happened? So,
Yeah.
so we drove the whole trip. That was Seattle to Vancouver, Vancouver to Pasco,
hmm
Pasco to Hillsboro,
hmm
Hillsboro to Tacoma, and then back to the
Nice
airport.
little loop.
It was a great road trip. It was
Man.
one of my favorites that we've
Good.
done.
I mean, I'm biased and I've grown up there, but I love driving around Washington State.
Incredibly beautiful. Incredibly beautiful.
I've learned this in high school and way back in high school I learned, but apparently, Washington State is the most geographically diverse state in the country.
Oh, that's interesting. I can see
Yeah.
that.
Glaciers, mountains,
High
white sandy
desert.
beaches, high
Yeah.
desert, pine forest, rainforest, volcanoes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, it speaks to sort of what the whole premise of this conversation is, which to me is baseball road trips are really such an amazing way to see the country, such an
Yeah.
amazing way to experience. And as you said, the continent, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that road trip shows it right there. We were in Vancouver and you were in Toronto.
Right. You've been to Japan.
I've been to Japan
Yeah.
I mean, that trip was baseball focused,
Yes.
right? We built it around 2 baseball games.
Exactly.
It was 10 days in Japan, but it all circled around these 2 baseball games in the middle of
You
the
know
trip.
what? Like, I don't mean to interrupt you here,
No,
but
it's all right.
wherever you go, I mean, I haven't been off the continent to watch baseball,
Right.
so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but ballparks are fun places.
Yeah.
They're literally
Yeah.
cathedrals built around connection and fun.
Yeah.
You will never see someone angry at a ball game unless they've had one too many of their teams losing.
I was just
But-
gonna say,
yeah. But like mostly people come to a ball game to enjoy themselves and their
Right.
family.
Right.
And regardless of what's going on in the game, usually
Yeah.
people are having fun. And it's the best way to strike up a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
If you tell them you're from out of town, but you want to catch their team, they'll want to tell you all the cool things in their city. You were just telling Karina and me what to do in Fort Collins tomorrow. Like
Yeah.
we fell in love with this place. We've been in Fort Collins for like 2 hours. We're like, we have to come back. We haven't even left yet.
There's a guest room with your name on it
Thank
right
you.
here.
It's the Erik and Karina commemorative guest suite.
There you go. I'm going to need a sign now.
Yeah. And, I don't want to wrap things up. I could talk with you all night, but before we go any further, I brought you a gift and I wanted to give it to you live on air.
I was just about to wrap things up here. I can't wait.
I saw it in your eyes.
Yeah. Oh, you saw me check the clock here. I have no idea how long we've been talking, actually.
You've been awake for 36 hours.
Oh, no.
This is a gift to you from the Tri-City Dust Devils. This is our 2025 new addition to the roster.
Oh, my God. It's lime green, the ice cream helmet, and it's screen printed,
It
not
is.
stickers
It's not
this
a
time.
sticker.
All right. This is a beauty. This is a lime green Vineros. And you told me that that's the caps this year.
That's right.
Vineros have a lime green
Yep.
with the Vineros logo. That's the Copa de la Diversión logo that you all have.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
You're
Eric. I
welcome.
love it. It's going to go right here while we're talking. It's going on the stack.
Can I narrate this?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul is walking the new Sunday helmet.
The good news is here that there's a spot just sort of waiting for it.
It's
too.
like you built it for that. He currently has 4 Tri-City Dust Devil ice cream helmets.
Yeah.
He's now placing the lime neon green 5th one. Precariously balanced, but professionally balanced There it is, folks. It's up
rock
there.
solid.
It's
rock
part.
solid.
It's part of the display. Go Vigneros, go Dust Devils.
Eric, one of my great joys from being part of this minor league baseball community has been getting to know you. You're one of my favorite people.
Thank you.
I hope
Right back
folks,
at you.
you mentioned your father. That is, he to this day continues to be such an important part of minor league baseball. Ed's Fund is something that you continue to carry on, which we told this story twice really in the two times that you were on previously about how he would give gifts to children or people with special needs, and he would give them those gifts through you.
Yeah, anonymously through me. Yeah.
And then fans and folks from the minor league baseball community started making donations so that they could support what we have called Ed's Fund to continue doing that. And you are. I never had the honor to meet him, but I can tell from the way you talk about him that you are carrying on his legacy, and just the positive, loving environment that you have cultivated, not just with yourself but with your team, with the Dust Devils, and in all of minor league baseball, is one of my favorite things about being part of this community. So
Wow.
I'm honored that you're here staying at the house tonight. I can't believe you're here in the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame. Thank you for being here. Thank you for an amazing day today.
Wow, Paul. Thank you. I can't let that be the last word. Thank you for saying that. That means more than you know. It really does. And I remember first talking with you. You called me for an article for sportslogos.net in 2020 when there was no baseball, minor league baseball, and there was all these shakeups of teams. But you wanted to get the story of the Dust Devils, and we talked and laughed during that official interview for like, I don't know, 45 minutes. And at the end, both you and I are like, let's grab a beer sometime.
Right.
Let's catch a game. And then we've been able to build this friendship.
Several games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful. And thank you for what you and the community have done to continue my dad's legacy by donating to Ed's Fund. It means more than you know. I use it often to gift people, to share his story, and to share the story of our community. So
fantastic. Well, Eric, this has been a lot of fun. Like you say, we could just keep going and going.
I know.
But guess what? Like, even when we stop the recording, we don't have to.
This is a 10-part series.
Exactly. I love it.
Nobody wants that.
Where can people find you on the socials?
Oh, that's fun. Okay, I listen to every episode of Baseball by Design,
Yeah.
and it's my Tuesday ritual, waking up, going for a jog, listening to this. So I'm honored to do this. Please check out the Tri-City Dust Devils. We're dustdevilsbaseball.com. We're TC_Dust Devils on Twitter, and we're Tri-City Dust Devils on Instagram. There's a Facebook page. And then I'm Erik the Peanut Guy, Erik with a K, on Twitter. It's actually, I use my real name, Eric Mertens, on Twitter, but you can find me. Okay. And on Instagram. And I post a lot of hats and a lot of baseball travels. So
amazing.
That's what we're talking about.
Eric, thank you. Can't wait to have you back on. Can't wait to get back out to Pasco, Washington for a Dust Devils game. So glad you're here right now.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks, everybody.
We're at the National Ballpark Museum just across the street from Coors Field. Game's over. Dodgers won. That's okay. We still had a great time. Bruce, this is your museum. This is your passion project. Tell me about it. What is the National Ballpark Museum?
It is all about celebrating our national pastime, and we just want to have people feel the passion and love for the game. I want people to experience the game here. The old classic ballparks, there were 14, Wrigley and Fenway are the only remaining ones. You'll never see them again.
Yeah.
These are American treasures, and this is the only place dedicated to them. And that is something that sparks the biggest energy for me in baseball, and just enjoying all the different stories. Baseball's about stories.
Mm-hmm. This museum, when we walked in, though, it's an immersive experience. The history, the old ballparks, the pennants. We got the Wrigley Field scoreboard over here. It's incredible. This is your personal collection, and you're sharing it with this community.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
I collected everything here.
Yeah.
Wasn't my personal collection.
Okay.
And then many years back, I formed a nonprofit 501c3, which means it all belongs to you in the community.
Okay.
This is yours. This is the city of Denver, the community of Colorado, the community of the United States. Because someone once told me I can't take it to the grave with me unless I get a pyramid in Egypt.
I could see being buried here, actually. That doesn't seem so bad.
Seriously, this might seem weird saying this. I maintain Yankee Stadium is more significant than the Empire State Building. I truly believe that. What's the most popular tourist attraction in all of New England? You're right, Fenway Park.
Good job, Maya.
Very good. There's a reason for it. These are American treasures.
I know this is an impossible question to answer. Do you have a favorite exhibit or item that's on display here?
Well, it's kind of like, which kid do I like best, or do I like prime rib or steak?
Yeah, I've got two, and this is the one I like the best.
I would say, deep down, it's a tie between Yankee Stadium and Ebbets Field. I mean, Yankee Stadium is the one that I grew up with when I was a kid. The only thing on TV, the Yankees on TV. It was a game of the week where they were in the World Series, and who didn't want to be Mickey Mantle? There's a reason his rookie card goes for $30 million. Some of us loved him, like all of us loved him.
Yeah.
Get a baseball bat. I want Mickey's bat. I want to be number 7. That's what I grew up with. And so the Yankees and the team here in Denver, the Denver Bears, were the farm club of the Yankees. Hello.
The Denver Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my indoctrination of baseball, was with Yankees and the greatness.
So Bruce, if someone wants to come visit the ballpark museum, they're in Denver, the Rockies are in town or not, how do they find you online? How do people learn about the ballpark museum?
Just National Ballpark Museum. Just Google it, Denver Baseball Museum. It'll pop up. What I always like to say is, on our front porch, if you and I, when our arms were strong, we could throw a ball to the home plate entrance.
Yeah.
That's
like
right.
A ball thrown from the outfield.
It's a fantastic space, a must-see for every baseball fan. Bruce, you got visitors coming, so we're going to let you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has
That's
been
great.
fantastic. Really
Good
appreciate
stuff.
it.
And I'd love this. That's great. Please come in. How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right, everyone, welcome back. Dan Simon of Studio Simon, Louisville-based design firm, joins us every single week for a Studio Simon Stumper. Dan, you were bumped from your starter's role by one Erik Mertens, Erik the Peanut Guy, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and I'm sure you'll meet him someday. One of minor league baseball's biggest stars, biggest celebrities, Erik the Peanut Guy. He came and stayed at the guest suite at the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame here in Fort Collins. We got to catch a Rockies game together. We went to the National Ballpark Museum. It was a great time. So, it's always nice to see him. But you, Dan, have had the task of coming up with a Studio Simon Stumper centered around, my friend visiting and us talking about baseball. So I did not give you much to go on for developing a stumper here.
I did not need much to go on. This was actually an easy one for me. So let's get to it.
All right, we're jumping right into it.
Okay, before there was Erik the Peanut Guy, there was, frankly, the most famous major league peanut vendor, Roger Owens, also known as the Peanut Man. Ever heard of Roger Owens?
No.
Okay. We've talked about where I live and where I've lived, past tense. I lived in Los Angeles for 17 or 18 years. And during that time, not only did I work for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but I also, prior to working for them, and during the time I worked for them, went to many a Dodger game, and I bought peanuts from Roger Owens, the Peanut Man. And he has been selling peanuts at Dodger Stadium, and prior to that at the LA Coliseum when the Dodgers first moved to Los Angeles from Brooklyn in 1958, since the Dodgers moved to Los Angeles. So he was famous for throwing peanuts behind his back, between the legs, 2 bags at a time that would then be delivered to different people. And I witnessed all of this with my own eyes. And he became, I don't know if necessarily still is, but he became kind of a celebrity in the way that Erik the Peanut Guy has become a minor league baseball celebrity, but he was a celebrity in Los Angeles. So with that in mind, our Studio Simon Stumper today is a 2 truths and a lie, and asks, Which of these facts about Roger the Peanut Man Owens is not true?
Okay.
Is it A, he had a biography written about him? B, he was a guest on The Tonight Show? Or C, he received an honorary doctorate of concessions distribution sciences from the Institute of Culinary Education in Los Angeles? That was a mouthful.
Yeah. Dan, I have something of a streak going right now, and I feel like it's on the line. I feel like I'm 0 for 4 in the bottom of the ninth right now, and I'm trying to keep my hitting streak alive because I've got a stumper streak going where I've gotten a number of them right in a row. He had a biography written about him. He was on The Tonight Show, or he got this crazy fancy honorary degree from an institute, a culinary institute in Los Angeles. I feel like Johnny Carson would have had him on as a guest, but I don't know that for sure. Would he have had a biography written about him? The Culinary Institute one sounds like enough fun that I'm gonna automatically say that one is a truth. If you made that one up, Dan, kudos to you, because that would be a good red herring right there, because that one is very detailed and very fun. Biography written about him, Johnny Carson. I'm gonna say that he has not had a biography written about him. He has been on Johnny Carson, and he does have an honorary degree.
Well, thank you for the compliment paid to me for coming up with the honorary doctorate of concessions distribution sciences from the Institute of Culinary Education in Los Angeles. The only thing true about that, Paul, is that there is an Institute of Culinary Education in Los Angeles.
Dan, if this is like I had a hitting streak going and I lost it during a Nolan Ryan no-hitter right there. That's some of your best work right there.
Okay. He did indeed have a biography written about him, the 2004 biography, The Perfect Pitch, the biography of Roger Owens, the famous Peanut Man at Dodger Stadium. Put that on your to-read list. He was a guest on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, September 7th, 1996. Other guests that night included comedian Carl Reiner and novelist Gore Vidal.
Okay.
And another achievement, he was in a number of movies. I don't know what that number was, but one of them was Mel Brooks' movie Robin Hood Men in Tights, where Roger Owens, the Peanut Man, can be seen tossing peanuts to spectators at a medieval archery contest. So
that's awesome. Well, Dan, I sensed that my streak was on the line, but this was a fun way to lose it for sure. And then, I wonder if Erik the Peanut Guy strives someday to be Erik the Peanut Man, even though he's been with the Tri-City Dust Devils for, a couple of decades.
Selling peanuts keeps you young.
It's true. It's true. He's got some fancy title. He's a full-time employee of the team now, but he's still out there tossing peanuts and one of baseball's all-time good guys. I can't wait for you guys to meet in person because, Dan, you're one of baseball's all-time good guys as well. And I appreciate all of your Studio Simon Stumpers. And hey, we'll see you next week.
I appreciate you as well, Paul. You know that, but I'm happy to say that over and over again. I have fun doing these with you, and I'm looking forward to having some more fun next week. See you then.